It's been a while. Something that I noticed, I particularly used to be the type of person who would say, oh, I've been doing this for X amount of hours, or, I've been in the gym for 2 hours, or I've been studying for 4 hours, or, I've been doing something which, would typically be deemed as something that would push the ball forward in one of the various different goals that I have within my life. But I would use a function of time to describe, the progress that I was making. Just like I said, I would say like, oh, I was in the gym for a few hours, or I was studying for a few hours, whatever the case may be. When in reality, I realized a few months ago that that's really not what matters. What matters is the amount of inputs that you do, and that is irrespective of time. That doesn't necessarily depend on time. Sure, it takes time for each individual input. However, we control the amount of time that we spend on each input. What I mean by that is, I could go to a few months ago, I would go to the gym and I'd do my stuff, and it would take me X amount of time, and then I realized I can just do it in a quicker time frame. And that's not the best example, because there are various other confounding variables like fatigue, like if equipment or machines are being taken or not. But like a great thing that this can be applied to is work, especially last summer when working with like genuinely brilliant minds, people who are such high achievers and have accomplished so much and have earned so much compensation, which is absolutely earned based on what they've been able to accomplish throughout their career in such a short amount of time. They turn around everything like that. What some people might say is like an end of day thing or end of week thing, for them it's end of hour. Since their inputs are much faster, their progress is much faster as a result. They get so much more done within the same day, and it blew my mind seeing, how quickly these folks at the top of their game, at the top of their craft, are able to operate. And for me at least, it made me realize like, wow, this is there's levels to this stuff. This big thing some folks can accomplish every single hour, and that makes you realize if they can do that, every single hour for 8 hours, they might be like 10 magnitudes ahead of where I would be within a month, And it's true, just depending on where I am within my life. Sure, I've accomplished a lot, but some folks that are much, much further along, and I am no different from that individual, and that individual is no different from me. It's just a reality of me using time to measure each individual function, rate of progress that I have within my goals, as opposed to inputs. I can say that, I studied for a test and it took me 4 hours, if there were like 4 chapters. The reality is I probably could have, trimmed it down while maintaining quality, which is very important. I probably could have trimmed it down to 45 minutes, 30 minutes. And these little changes add up over time. If I trimmed it down to 45 minutes, I would have saved an hour over these 4 chapters, which could be applied to something else, or it could be applied to relaxing and recovering, recuperating, whatever the case may be, which is just as fine. It's not that it has nothing to do with time, but it has so much less to do with time than what I originally anticipated it. When I would practice basketball, I get to the court, and if I practice for 2 hours every day, I'll get better. No, within those 2 hours, I could do 10 drills, or I could do 40 drills. I could just keep going, keep pushing myself, keep getting better. And the reality is, within that same time frame, that 2 hour time frame after school, I could do 5 drills, or I could do 50 drills. Legit, seriously. And the same amount of time results in a vast different amount of inputs, and these inputs are really what moves the bar in terms of progress, especially over the long run. Imagine a single day in which you're able to just do like maybe 1 or 2 more inputs within the same amount of time that you dedicate towards the task. Imagine that extrapolated over a decade, over 2 decades, over 3 decades. You'd be in completely different leagues, completely different worlds of achievement, of accomplishment, of progress, of success. That's incredible to me, and I didn't realize this until months ago. So I've been very intent with, how my time is spent when, doing this, when, intently having some sort of progress to be made, within a certain task. If I'm studying, I'm not just gonna like have my book open and go on my phone, I'm gonna read that book as quickly as possible while retaining as much information as I can, so that I can study quicker so that I can study more times so that my progress is better within the same amount of time as, when I used to be, somebody who would move quite slowly through things. Just a little thing I noticed I think is pretty cool.